bourguignon, or beef burgundy. This is a wonderful dish with a lot of different steps. We're going to use red wine. It needs to be a dry red wine, something that you can drink. Anything that you put into your food needs to taste good. So we're going to start by browning our beef. Bob's already got this going, and we have about one more batch to go. The caramelizing of the beef cubes is going to create a lot of flavor in this stew, as well as the stock that we made. So we're going to make sure that they're well browned. We're going to use leave that fat that's in here, and then finish up. That's good. Okay, and these have been dried. So when you drop these in, drop them in just sections, so it's not, not next to each other, because otherwise it creates steam, and we want this to be well browned. Is this a pie?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I know.
Can tell you've been here
too polite today, huh?
No, you're well trained here at Call to Cuisine. I'm real proud of you. Okay.
I still don't do dishes, but
you do. Yeah, you're gonna have to do dishes later. That's part of it. All right. You let me know when these are browned, okay?
Okay,
when the rest of this is finished. All right. Let's get off to the other parts here. Brian and Mark, we need to do the other components. The other components are a lot of steps. This is a good mise en place. Get everything done, and then you can assemble your stew. So while this is browning, I'd like the potatoes. This is nothing more than for decorative, but this also is going to help some flavor of the stew, the sauce, get into the potato. And they look pretty too. Yeah, don't they look good? All right, then we have some slab bacon. Now slab bacon is very salty and it has a lot of smoke in it. In order to get that out, we're going to drop it in a pot of cold water and let it blanch for about 5 minutes or so. But if you get just a little pieces of bacon, it doesn't taste quite the same. You'll see why in a few minutes. The onions we have, I call boiling onions. Pearl onions are small. They'll work too, but they're very, very little. So we'll put these into some boiling water just to loosen up the skins. That'll help the skins pop off. Same thing with the bacon. We're going to pop that into some boiling water, and we're going to, ooh, that's hot. Let this, very hot. Okay, so we're going to let this come to a boil, and let it simmer then for about 5 minutes, because it will draw out all that salt and smoke flavor, which we should overpower this stew. So you have to take it out. Bob's doing pretty good over there.
It's ready to go.
Oh, hey, Chef. Oh, awesome. Nice job.
Thank you, Chef. Ma'am,
Respect, Bob.
Respect.
Yeah, only on air we get the
Nothing but.
respect. Only on air. It's not like this in a real class.
Because she carries a big stick.
Yeah, I do. Yes, we keep that underneath here. All right, this is called glace de viande. We're going to use stock, brown beef stock, and that's on my website at jillprescott.com. Simple beef stock can be boiled down. This is 4 cups that I put into a pot, and I boiled it down. Now this 4 cups is going to boil down like this, makes a syrup, and I call this glace de viande. And this glace de viande means glaze of the meat. It's almost like molasses. Put this in the refrigerator, it will solidify, and then it turns into what I call beef gelatin. And because it's hot, it's even harder. Oh, that's pretty good. It pulls out, and you can see this beef gelatin, it's kind of warm under the lights, is a nice flavoring packet. We use this, we never use bouillon cubes. As you know, we call those vile. Anything that's out of a can is swill. So we don't want to use anything that tastes bad in this stew, because if you use a bad stock or you use bad flavoring, it's just simply, like the wine, going to make the whole thing taste bad. Beef goes back in. All right, we're going to add the flour at this point. The flour is our thickening agent, but it's important that you just don't dump it in there and then the liquid on top of it. You want to make sure that it's the proteins and the flour particles burst, and that's where the starchiness flavor goes away. So we'll just mix that all in, and it's still on high.
Very high.
Very high. A little cognac or brandy. Brandy's fine. We happen to use a lot of cognac.
Can I have my glass? No.
No glasses.
Oh, okay.
Back up and be good. Now, no drinking now.
Yes, ma'am.
About 1/4 cup. Just plain old brandy is fine.
Oh, great fumes.
My students are so shy. You can tell they've been coming here for a couple of years. All right, now the wine. And we're going to use about 3 cups.
One more.
I think a bottle is about...
A little bit more, Jill.
Maybe the whole thing.
This is for me because I have to work with you guys all day today. And some brown beef stock. Now at this stage, we're going to add a bouquet garni. And a bouquet garni is a flavoring packet. This little flavoring packet has fresh herbs, fresh thyme, Turkish bay leaf. I have Italian parsley. You can use curly leaf parsley. And I tie them either between leek leaves or celery ribs just to hold them together. And some peppercorns you can put in the inside too. So we can put this in for a little flavoring. I'm going to add the garlic at this point. Some shallots. All right, and tomato paste to give color. Give it a nice bright color. Salt and pepper. The salt and pepper that's added now is just a little bit because as this cooks down, the flavors intensify, and we don't want this to be too strong. Just to get it going, we'll adjust the seasoning at the end. But we'll put some in so it starts seasoning the meat. All right, that's good. Bob is going to, could you put this in the oven?
Yes, ma'am.
At about 325. 325 degrees is good for stew and braise. If you're going to keep it in the oven, you get a nice even cooking. There you go. Perfect. Okay, here we are about, 2 hours later. Our bacon now has been drained. It was blanched, now drained. Mark, I'm going to let you just keep moving this around.
Okay.
The idea here is the fat is going to start coming out of the bacon, which we want to remain, so don't throw it away. Keep it in the pot.
I won't.
Okay. All right, we're going to get the stew out of the oven. And Brian, the potatoes, after the stew comes out of the oven, we'll test those potatoes.
All right, Jill.
This is good. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. Brian, you've got these potatoes just about steamed. I like to steam them because steaming is going to allow the skins to stay on, but you don't have to. You can boil these, start them in cold water, bring them up to a boil, take them down to a simmer. This is perfect. The knife goes through real easily. Okay, if you could get these into a bowl for us.
Okay.
Okay, and bring these over. All right, and how are we doing over here, gentlemen?
Oh, it's looking great. Good.
Oh, nice. Okay. You got these done perfectly. These are now nice and creamy in the center. They're still kind of soft. So let's drain these into this pan. I'll just move this over so don't we... There we go. Now we're going to keep all this wonderful bacon fat because we're going to cook our mushrooms in this and the onions, which is going to tie the flavor together in this stew. So you don't want to throw this out. Mushrooms, nice and high. Now I'll give you one of those towels. Move back to the heat. We want to brown these. These don't have to be cooked till they're soft. You can see how pretty the shape is, cut in quarters instead of slices. So you have nice chunks to eat. And the stew looks great. Degrease it by taking off any of the excess fat that is formed here on the top. You can do that with a little teaspoon in a dish and then discard that. So this is all degreased, ready, set to go. All those nice brown drippings we have to
Not lose.
not lose.
Can you lick the bowl?
You can we're going to sit down to a little wine and some beef stew, and you're going to be able to
We'll
lick the bowl.
after that. That's fine. That's great.
As soon as these are brown, we're going to add the onions. All right, we'll put the mushrooms in. It's pretty good. All right, what about those onions?
Well,
Mark has got these all peeled. Once they're put into water, you can peel those off real easily. And when you cut off these ends, the root end, make sure that you don't whack the whole thing off, because if you do, the onion falls apart in the stew. So just take that portion off. And again, nice high. You want this to brown up just a little bit. Meanwhile, we can start assembling the stew. So we have the drained bacon. Can go into it. Brian's got the potatoes here. It's important that these potatoes simmer in the stew for a little bit so they pick up the flavor, and that's the reason that you have that peel off. So all that sauce is absorbed into the potato. And when you're stirring this, always get underneath. Don't be poking things because you're breaking everything up inside. So just get around, and if your sauce gets too thick when you take it out of the oven, you can add a little beef stock to it, or even a little bit of water to thin it down a little bit, because if it's way too thick, here we go, the onions are perfect. Turn the heat off. Add the onions, and maybe just a little bit of liquid into this. Woo!
Turn from French to Greek. Oopa.
That's right. All right, can we put a little bit, just a little bit of water into this?
Okay.
Empty that out, a little bit of water. We're going to bring this up to a simmer and let this simmer now for approximately 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to have a little glass of red wine.
Ooh.
Oh no, you have to make dessert, don't we?
Oh, you know
And
what?
a little appetizer.
A little wine before dessert.
Okay, maybe we'll have some wine and then we'll make dessert.
When do we get to lick the bowl?
You can go lick the bowl right now.
Oh, great.
We're going to put you in the back room.
Okay.
We'll be back in a few minutes.